Hey, and good evening, everyone, and welcome to Travel Tips Tuesday. It is Tuesday, September the 10th, 2019. Very glad to be able to join you once again tonight to talk about all things Disney, as well as throw in a few other bonus points of information for you, because as you know, I love Disney. It's part of who I am and what I do. But we don't just do Disney. We do things like Royal Caribbean, Sandals and Beaches, all-inclusives, other all-inclusive resorts. Land tours, anything you can think of, rail trips, Europe, Africa, South America, all over the world, something that we can do for you. So just that's neither here nor there at this point, but I wanted to give you kind of a couple of things that we hit on last week. As you know, Hurricane Dorian was in the news a lot last week. The Bahamas especially were affected big time by the hurricane. Many lives lost, many lives changed for a long, long time. And one of the things that I've been super impressed with is the way the cruise lines, many others, many organizations, many nonprofits that are on the ground there now, but the cruise lines that many of which work with these people, many of which are these people, meaning the cruise lines own their own private destinations. They have full-time employees that live and work in many of these affected areas. They were some of the first people there because they already had the infrastructure in place. They repurposed some of their ships to be able to bring meals to these affected people. I've watched several live videos recently of Royal Caribbean, especially Norwegian Cruise Line has also done this. But Royal Caribbean basically transformed their main atrium, put down tables in their main dining space, where just long tables where they were putting together thousands upon thousands of box lunches and meals, transporting pallet after pallet after pallet of bottled water and, generators, tarps, basically a lot of the disaster relief kind of supplies that you think of when something like that happens. These cruise lines have been doing an amazing job. And even some of the cruise itineraries now that are still going on in the Bahamas. If you're thinking about a cruise, if you have one coming up in the next few months or a few weeks, whether you booked it through me or not, just be aware there may be an opportunity for you to bless these people in the Bahamas. Yes, you're going on a vacation, but I know somebody that's on a Royal Caribbean cruise now that helped deliver about 10,000 meals to one part of the Bahamas. She was part of several guests that were on board a ship that instead of going to one particular port, they did this instead. And I know someone else that's actually leaving tomorrow to go on a cruise that is also doing that. So a lot of great ways to connect. Of course, there's some opportunities to donate if you want to do that, and I'll include those links as I did last week, and I'll drop them in the comments after we're done tonight. So if you want to get that notification, please make sure you like this, share it, turn the notifications on for this so you can grab that information a little bit. There are 3 different places that I have kind of set up as opportunities for you to donate towards organizations, reputable ones that you can partner with. If you do have travel ever scheduled during hurricane season, so this is a question that I've received recently. What are the cruise lines' policies? What is Walt Disney World Resort's policies on refunding trips, refunding rescheduling things? Do they drop cancellation fees or change fees, things of that nature? That is going to vary from year to year, from situation to situation. So, if they have a big Category 5 hurricane that is barreling down on Central Florida, that they are for sure know is going to go through a certain area, they're going to be more lenient on those policies. And the typical window, if you go on Disney's website, specifically just talking about them, not necessarily the other resort destinations, cruise lines that are out there, but Disney specifically, if you go on their website, you're going to see a lot of language that includes this sort of 7-day window. So if you have booked a trip or travel within a certain amount of period, typically 7 days, they're going to be a little bit more lenient when it comes to change fees and cancellation fees. And refunds and things like that, they're going to be a little bit more liberal towards. So just something to think about and put in the back of your head. It is totally okay to travel during hurricane season. The cruise lines, the resorts are never, ever, ever going to put their guests in harm's way. Many times they will reroute their ships around storms. They'll change ports of call to make sure they will accommodate you as well as possible. Another thing to think about as well is travel insurance. travel insurance is one of those things you can have in your back pocket in case something like this happens. One of the things that is included with many travel insurance plans, again, depending on the provider and the cruise line, this is going to vary a little bit, but they do have typically pretty generous or pretty liberal cancellation policies built into those travel insurance policies, be it because of a personal reason or even a situation like this, and you're not able to get down there. So, again, the Disney, other cruise lines, other resorts are going to do their best to accommodate the specific itineraries and the guests that are there, but those things, vary from situation to situation. So, and again, stay tuned. Make sure you like this, turn the notifications on, and I will send you. Make sure you have some opportunities to donate, to get connected with some of the disaster relief that's going on right now, if you would like to know that. So, speaking of cruise lines, and I just thought I'd highlight Royal Caribbean up front because they have done such a good job at responding to this. They also have some great promotions going on right now as well, and then I wanted to make sure you all knew about one of these. This is kind of primarily a Disney podcast, but again, not Disney specifically. I'm not sponsored. Just me kind of doing my thing, trying to help folks out. If you go to travelnationjohn.com/current dash promotions, the link should be in the description of this. You can find a lot of different promotions that are out there. Again, travelnationjohn.com. You can even just go there and arrow over to the Book Now button. There's a drop down that says current promotions or something like that, and I've got a few different things up there. But this is one of them that I wanted to tell you about. Right now, Royal Caribbean is running a special through September the 30th, so through the end of this month, where you get 50% off your second guest, and then kids will sail for less than the normal fare. On the Oasis of the Seas and the Allure of the Seas, if you sail in 2020, there are some specific sailing bonuses. The Oasis specifically, I do know, is going to be moved around a little bit in a few different spots. So the itineraries of these ships are not the same itineraries. So based on the season, they're going to get moved around a little bit. So definitely something to explore if you're thinking about a cruise, even for this November or December, next month, or even later this month in September. This is a great opportunity to think about a way for you and your family to celebrate the holidays, just to take a break, to unplug a little bit, and to kick back and relax. Royal Caribbean does a great job. My wife and I have sailed with Royal Caribbean several years ago. It was a great experience, and highly, highly recommend Royal Caribbean. They're a fantastic cruise line, offer a lot of great opportunities for families, wonderful excursions, very high quality service, wonderful staterooms and accommodations. The food is good, all around good experience. So cannot go wrong with them. So if Disney Cruise Line gives you a little bit of sticker shock, if that's not in your budget for right now, Royal Caribbean is not just a good backup. They are a good option in and of themselves. Big fan of Royal Caribbean Cruise Line. They do a good job. So there's my kind of plug up front for them. If you have questions about Royal Caribbean Cruise Line or any cruise line for that matter, please reach out to me. I would love for you to talk with me about that, answer any questions that you can have. But moving forward, because our topic tonight is not about cruise lines, it is actually about exploring the lands of Disney parks. So I said that specifically because we're going to start off at Walt Disney World, because it's what's familiar to a lot of us. It's what's most familiar to me. I have been to Disneyland in California a few times, as you may have heard me talk about, but we're going to jump around from park to park. We're going to start at Walt Disney World, start at the Magic Kingdom, and kind of make our way around there, and then we're going to hop over to Disneyland in California to kind of go, again, land by land, just to kind of give you some basics about attractions. Primarily the two areas are attractions and food options. We may hit on a couple of other things, shows and other opportunities for you along the way, but our main focus will be attractions and food options. And this series that we're going to do is primarily going to be for folks that haven't gone in a while or maybe planning their first trip. So if you know somebody that is brainstorming, I've never taken my family to Disney, I haven't been in 30 years, I haven't been in really even 5 years, is probably a good mark. This may be a good series for them to tune into. So let's get down to it. Exploring the lands of Disney parks, Adventureland at Walt Disney World. Attractions. We're going to kind of go point by point here. So if you've got a park map handy, or you want to, pull one up on Google or what have you, you can kind of follow along there if you want. The first bullet point, first one we want to mention is Tinkerbell's Magical Nook Meet, where you can meet Tinkerbell and her fairy friends. So that sounds like a lot of fun, great opportunity for young children. There's also the Swiss Family Treehouse, which is a walkthrough tour of the Robinsons' home from the Swiss Family Robinsons. It's a great way, I think, to relax, to kill some time between fast passes, or maybe you're walking off that Dole Whip float that we're going to talk about here in just a minute, or those cheeseburger egg rolls that you've had right there in Adventureland. It's a great way just to relax. And one of the really cool things that I like about the Swiss Family Treehouse is this. There's a lot of detail in it, a lot of detail. There's a story that kind of flows through it that kind of makes you wonder, wow, are people really living here? Is there something going on? Is there more to this? The detail in it is wonderful. And I think, it may not be for, it's kind of cool for big kids because you kind of, and little kids alike, because you kind of feel like you're, climbing through a really cool tree house that you might see out in your backyard, but it's like steps and waves beyond that. So, but again, it's really neat just to kind of walk through and see. It takes just a few minutes. It's right there in Adventureland, and it's a lot of fun to do. It's one of my favorite things to do. It's something not to be missed. Next on the list are the Magic Carpets of Aladdin, where you can fly over Agrabah on a magic carpet ride. So that area right around Adventureland, especially where the magic carpets are, it's kind of a centralized area in the heart of Adventureland. There are a lot of shops, a few little places you can grab some bites around the magic carpets. It's similar to Dumbo the Flying Elephant over in New Fantasyland. It's also kind of similar in scope to the Astro Orbiter ride in Tomorrowland, but they all have their different sort of theme and different sort of flair. So the magic carpets are a lot of fun. We did that back in May with our children as a family, even, and we really, really enjoyed it. So, and for those of you that have been there in recent years and you're missing a key feature of that area, the camel, if you know what I mean. It kind of turns its head. If you're not careful, it might spit water on you. The camel is back. It is there. It has been moved, but it is back, and that's kind of a cool thing to see. When you go there, you'll see the camel, especially on a hot day. It's a great opportunity to kind of cool off there. So, big fan of the magic carpets. Great, great, great for young children and families alike. Walt Disney's Enchanted Tiki Room Sing-Along Audio Animatronics Show. So that's the full name. We just call it the Tiki Room. In the Tiki Room. So, like, for me, there are, like, a handful of songs at Disney that get stuck in your head very easily. Some of them are more pleasing than others. Some of them are more fun than others. Tiki Room is one of those that I think is fun. It's a lot of fun to kind of dance around to. The music is catchy and the show is entertaining, and it's got some cheesy jokes and some puns in there and those kinds of things. But wonderful air conditioning. So if you are in Walt Disney World or the Magic Kingdom in Adventureland, in one of the 11 out of the 12 months of the year when it's horribly humid and hot, and I'm just kidding. It is warm, it is humid there, but it's not miserable. You have a good time even when it's warm and humid out. But the Tiki Room is a great place to catch some air conditioning and just kind of chill out literally and rest and recoup a little bit. And re-energize for part of your day. So the wait times there are typically not that high. So it's not a fast pass kind of thing, but it is a classic attraction that Walt Disney himself did have a hand on in the background of. So check out the Enchanted Tiki Room. Highly recommend that one. And the last two attractions that we're going to mention in Adventureland are probably the two that most people think of when they think of attractions at Adventureland. And the first one is the Jungle Cruise, the Silly Safari Boat Tour. So this is an iconic experience for any Walt Disney World or Disneyland park, for that matter, visit. There's so much story, so much background to this attraction, so many dreams and thoughts that went into it, and there are puns aplenty. So if you're a fan of dad jokes, you want to go on this ride. You will absolutely love it. If you're not a fan of dad jokes, you hate puns, probably not going to have that good of a time, just to be honest with you. But there's again, it's really cool. It's a lot of fun, and sometimes if you get the right skipper, the right boat captain, like they call them skippers, you will have an even extra better time. So a lot of fun, and it's one of those things where the jokes are the same pretty much every time you go on there, but they're fun. So, and you get to see what the backside of water is all about. So be prepared for that. If you've never seen the backside of water, it will change your life. I promise you. So Jungle Cruise, awesome attraction. Love that one. Definitely one where if you're visiting the Magic Kingdom and your family's not all about roller coasters, Jungle Cruise is one you want to get a fast pass for. So keep that in mind. Pirates of the Caribbean. Join Captain Jack Sparrow as you sail through the Spanish Main area. So Pirates of the Caribbean was an attraction that Walt Disney as well had his hands on. The version of Pirates of the Caribbean in Disneyland in California, and even some of the other parks around the world, is different. It's differently themed. In fact, couple of the best attractions Disney parks wide, worldwide. One of them was recently rated as Pirates of the Caribbean as well, not in the States. I think it was either Hong Kong or Shanghai. I can't remember. But it was one of them. Just the themes are different in every one, but they're more similar between Disneyland and Magic Kingdom. Because because of I think the history, the locations of them, the folks, the Imagineers that were tied into them. The one thing that is a big difference in California, the ride is almost twice as long. I would say at least probably 35 to 40% longer in California than it is in Florida. So Pirates of the Caribbean is a great ride. Again, it's a dark boat ride, just basically meaning that it's a little bit dimmer inside, just for the theming of the attraction. It's cooler. It's a great way that even the queues are cooled down well. It's a great way to just relax and enjoy a classic attraction. A couple of kind of bonus points for the Pirates of the Caribbean attraction is this. During Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, which is going on right now through Halloween night, they are actually putting live actors in this ride. So this is something that has been done before. It was done with Imagineers years ago and was a big hit, but I think it was just last year the first time they brought in live actors on a regular basis for this attraction only during Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. It's a great addition to it. It adds a little bit different flavor, a little bit different flair, makes it more real. Even if you've been on it tons of times, if you've never been on it with live actors, it'll definitely add something different and add a little bit more magic to your trip. So check out Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. If you're going this fall, if you'd like to go, let me know. We can definitely chat about it. So the other thing is this. So, I mentioned that there were, I'm kind of wrapping up our conversation on attractions, but there's some other activities in this area that you can do that are not just, rides per se. One of them is the Pirates League, where your little one can be transformed into a pirate. So it's in a similar scope and a similar sort of flavor to Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, where little ones can be transformed into princesses. But this one is more focused on pirates, and it's kind of, I don't know, it's a different kind of experience. So you're not paying for them just to get a costume and a makeup job, but it's a fully immersed experience for your children, and it's definitely something that you want to think about doing if you're celebrating something special. It's a great way to plus it. Reservations are required for it. It is a separately priced experience, so that's in addition to your theme park admission. So please be aware of that. If you have questions about that and want to know pricing for it, sometimes those prices can flex based on date, based on availability, all those sorts of things. I would love to help you out with that. Would love to be able to call and find out, get to know you, and figure out if that's something that's a good fit for your family. So speaking of which, there are all these different things that we're talking about with attractions and even dining that we're going to talk about just a little bit, even the cruise stuff up front. I want to help you sort through it all. I want to get to know you, find out what your desires are for travel, what your goals are for travel, figure out what your likes are, what your dislikes are, if you have any food allergies, if you have any specific accommodations, if you're celebrating anything special, how to make your trip, be it Disney, be it a cruise, be it somewhere else, the best one that is the best fit for you, so you can make memories that last a lifetime and lessen the hassle in the process. So because that's what it's all about. I don't want you to have an experience that's not a good fit for you. I don't want you to have an experience that is going to stress you out and that is going to be a hassle for you. So I don't charge anything at all for my planning services. Just have a love for travel, love for people, and love serving others. If you have questions about how all that works, please let me know. We'd love to talk with you. We'd love to catch up with you. If I haven't talked to you in a while, if there's somebody that you know that I could help, referrals are a huge part of the business, and would be definitely in your debt, and would be very, very thankful for those as they come along. So let's talk about dining. Everybody loves food, right? Let's talk about some awesome bites that you can grab while you're in Adventureland at Magic Kingdom. So the first one that I'm going to mention is probably my favorite place almost in Magic Kingdom, I would say. But it is Aloha Isle. Aloha Isle, and just by the name of it, some of you may have guessed, if you've never heard me talk about these before, that place is home to the well-known, world-famous Dole Whip soft serve and Dole Whip floats. So Dole, like the pineapples, they have a pineapple soft serve and pineapple float that is available there. It is also available at the Pineapple Lanai at Disney's Polynesian Village Resort, which is just outside the Magic Kingdom. There are other places kind of scattered about that you can get Dole Whip and Dole Whip floats kind of here and there, but this is kind of like the Mecca kind of experience for it, if you will, where that's where people go to get these things. They have several lines that are open. You can even order them with mobile ordering, if memory serves correctly. So you can open up your My Disney Experience app, and order through that way, so you don't have to wait in the lines. We enjoyed some this past spring. They're delicious. I wish I had one right now, especially on these wonderful, warm southern days we've been having recently. So grab yourself a Dole Whip float or Dole Whip soft serve. They are also available as swirls as well. You can mix in some other flavors in there if you like. Big fan of Dole Whip floats. Awesome. Great refresher. If you've never had one, you like the pineapple flavor, it's a great refresher on a warm day. The second one is this Tortuga Tavern, which is a seasonal restaurant. It's kind of located across from the Pirates of the Caribbean. It is not open every day out of the year, but it is open many days out of the year, more so during the sort of peak seasons and busy seasons during the year. It's one of my favorite places to go. I just like the theming of it, like the feel of it, like the location of where this particular restaurant is. And basically they serve burritos and taco salad. So very simple fare, very filling, lots of good food there, and dining plans are accepted. You can also use your dining plan, I believe, snack credits for Dole Whip soft serve or Dole Whip floats as well. They also have cappuccinos and slushes available over at Sunshine Tree Terrace. So this is another sort of, before Aloha Isle was open, Sunshine Tree Terrace, which is located over closer to where the Jungle Cruise is. You could get Dole Whip floats there, but now Sunshine Tree Terrace is where you can get soft serve ice cream, citrus swirls, slushes, and cappuccinos. Another great way to beat the heat and cool down and enjoy a delicious treat. Now, another dining option for you when we're starting to wrap these up. But another dining option for you in Adventureland at Magic Kingdom is one that is not always there, but when it is there, it is definitely something to check out, definitely something to be aware of and enjoy and try out, because it's interesting, it's intriguing, and they're pretty tasty. And that are the spring rolls, the spring roll cart. So be on the lookout for the spring roll cart, because it's not out all the time, but when it is, they are absolutely delicious. They have cheeseburger spring rolls, pepperoni pizza spring rolls. They have cheesesteak spring rolls as well, and occasionally they'll come out with other flavors, and they're not all available at the exact same time. Again, it's kind of a seasonal-ish sort of things. It comes and it goes, but when it is there, check it out. They are delicious. They are, you can use I believe, part of your dining plan for that if you do have the Disney dining plan, and it's a great kind of food to have on the go. So if you just want to grab something like before parade or fireworks or something like that, and they are open, they're available, it's a great grab-and-go item to take with you, even if you're just walking across the park, maybe going to head it out or going to catch another fast pass or what have you. So don't miss the spring roll cart. Definitely something you want to look at. Coming up next week, we're going to talk about Frontierland. So One question, this is not one of the more controversial topics, but one question that comes up on occasion when you go into Walt Disney World, especially into the Magic Kingdom, because of what they call the hub and spoke design. So you walk up Main Street, go straight to the hub. That's where the Walt Disney and Mickey, what they call the partner statue, is right in front of Cinderella's castle. That is the hub area. And the spokes kind of go off into the different lands, over to the right to Tomorrowland, over to the left towards Adventureland, and then kind of over towards Liberty Square, and behind the castle you have New Fantasyland. There's some other areas scattered about in the back as well. Well, I like to go into the park and go left through Adventureland, start there, and then go around. Other people like to start Tomorrowland and go around the other way. Sometimes you just kind of zigzag around and go where you want, but I like to go left, so that's what we're going to do for this conversation. We're starting off in Adventureland. We're going to go to Frontierland next week. We may kind of change it up and highlight a few different topics along the way. But if you do have any favorites, if you do have any land-specific questions, the things that you're curious about, if there are any cool hidden Mickeys or things that you want to add into the conversations that you know about in these specific lands, please let me know. I would love to talk about those things. I would love to share them with other people as they tune in to this Facebook Live and podcast. It's a lot of fun to be able to do this. Again, I say it all the time, but it really is. It's a joy to be able to share this with other people, and I hope it is a joy for you to listen and to participate in it. So would appreciate a like on this post or a share as well on your personal news feed or any pages that you may want to share it on. Also, if you are listening on Apple Podcasts specifically, we would appreciate your rating there and recommendation, your review. We'd love to know what you think. That will help it reach other people. So again, I'm not sponsored. This is just me kind of doing my thing. I love being able to serve other people. Check out the links that I've included. My email address is there. If you have any specific questions, that'll come straight to me. Travelmation.com/current-promotions is where you can find that Royal Caribbean promotion I mentioned, as well as the one that I'm running currently through the end of September, where you get a free gift and a free Disney gift card. So please let me know about that. If you have any more questions, I would love to talk with you, and I look forward to being able to serve you and get to know you in the future. If no more questions, we'll see you again real soon. Talk to you next time. Bye.